Farshim say, why does it have to have a name? You finished. You brought Eitzim to the Beis Hamikdash. It's a happy day. The Beis Hamikdash is fueled and ready to go. That's great. The karbanos that are going to bring us Slicha Mechila Kapara are fueled. They're going to be brought. Great simcha. Why do you call it the day of break? So, I've been searching for this makar. I saw many years ago, and I've been searching for this makar. But it does say that the axe is like a sword, right? An axe chops down life. You're not allowed to use an axe around the Mizbeach or the Beit HaMikdash, right? Lo sivna, ashen, gazias. You're not allowed to. Because why? The Mizbeach adds to a person's life, and the Cherev diminishes a person's life, ends life early. So what's really happening here is that the threat of our enemies destroying us, right, is counterbalanced by what? Our ability to add and increase Torah. The power of the moon has to overcome the power of the sun. Tashash kocho shel Chama. The Chama is the nations of the world. Their power towards the year of Mashiach in particular is diminishing, and our power is waxing greater. But there is a condition to all that. You got to be Mosif. You have to add to your Torah mitzvahs, observance, your Shemayim and Emunah. Then you will escape the sword. Otherwise, there's not that safety net to protect you. And the axe may still be wielded over you. Chas v'shalom. So, that is, to me, the significance of the eclipse. The eclipse was basically saying, everybody is focusing on the sun part of it, right? And I wrote an article, my friend, one Rav that I know in Manhattan, said, I'm going to make a bracha without Hashem's name. You know that you don't make a bracha on an eclipse. It's a problem. Why didn't they make a bracha for the eclipse? You make a bracha for everything.
Because something's diminished, not good.
Oh, so that's a nice idea. But also they say, well, they say different answers. They say in the Gemara in Sukkah, Chavtes, also it was also Chavtes, which is interesting, says it's not a good sign for the nations of the world. If there's a solar eclipse, the nations of the world are being warned. If it's a lunar eclipse, then the Jewish people are being warned. And it's not a positive thing. It's just not a positive thing. Some say it's not really a astronomical event because like a shooting star is something that actually happened. Here, nothing happened. The two bodies that are the same as they were before, they just crossed paths. But, so some say, well, I think it was a simple reason, although I didn't see this brought down. Chazal were so brilliant. You can't make a bracha to see a solar eclipse. Why? Because it's going to damage your eyes.
So
That would be like asking people to damage their eyes. Chazal were so brilliant, somehow they knew it's a birkat hariyah. You have to look at it. They didn't say look at it in a contraption or with the meshugana glasses. I heard a lot of the glasses were defective anyway. So what, Chazal's putting Klal Yisrael in danger?
But we say birkas hachama.
So birkas hacham is like this. When the sun is shining, you can't physically tolerate the rays, so it's a built-in protection from Hashem that you're not going to ruin your eyes because you can't take it anyway. So it's a protection. But there, since the sun is covered, but the ultraviolet rays are still shining because it's really daytime, it's just that the moon is blocking part of that light. The ultraviolet rays are still coming at you and will destroy you. And I think there are some lawsuits already from that. You know, it's Rachmanis. What's that? Yes, you have to. Yeah, but if you don't see it, you cannot make the bracha. It's a birkat hariyah. If it's a cloudy day and you don't see the moon at all, you don't make the bracha. Right? You're not supposed to look at it because they're thinking you're worshiping it, chas v'shalom. But you have to fulfill the requirements of the bracha and look at it. Here, if there's a requirement to look at it, even for momentarily, it could cause harm. Brilliant. So, but then the question is, what bracha would they have made? So some said, well, we would have said the same bracha we make for birkas hachama, which is what? Osema separatius. Like we say for comets, and like we say for shooting stars, and like we say for lightning, and all those heavenly phenomena. But I wanted to say, let's look at it from the Jewish perspective. It was the moon, Tashash Kocho Shel Chama. That reminds me of this Gemara in Tainis, which says that the day that they buried the dead of Beitar, they instituted a bracha called Hatov V'Hametiv, which you say when a wine that's better than what you have is introduced to the meal. Okay? That's one of the reasons. You also say it when you get a Yerusha, certain cases when you have a windfall, etc. What is the bracha Hatov V'Hametiv? Hashem was good to us, but He will be even better to us. The wine that we have, we're grateful for, but the real wine, Yayin is Nichnas Yayin, Yatza Sod, Sodos HaTorah, Shivim, which represents Chachma, the Shivim Skenim, and the deep secrets of the Torah, both halachic and otherwise. That's the wine that we're waiting for. And that's the wine that Roman general didn't want us to drink and didn't think that we could get past the bones of the fallen soldiers of Bar Kochba to reclaim our vineyard. What is our vineyard? Our yayin with which we menasech al gabe mizbeach and sing praises to Hashem. Right? Kosher bracha is always introduced where? At a wedding. Right? Why? Because simcha comes from yayin. Simcha comes from yayin. Okay, moving along here. So, everybody good? I would have suggested the bracha of Tov V'Hametiv, because it was a great affirmation that the power of Am Yisrael better not mess with Am Yisrael, because this is our time. Because I want my people now to be recognized as what? As an Am Segula. What are the main issue right now with Israel and the world? What is the main issue? Besides the Iranians and besides whoever else. What's really the issue? Let's talk about Edom, who's not officially out to kill us. Officially. Just indirectly through the Yishmael. They want to let Iran do it, but they don't want to do it themselves, okay? So, Chas v'shalom. So what's the issue? The issue is they'll say Israel is a nation among the family of nations. No doubt. But that does not include Makom ha-Mikdash, the most hotly and heated contested, right? Over the summer also we had all the issues on Har HaBayis, right? With the what do they call them? The magnometers? What have to call them? Yeah. Right? Who has a right to give the admission pass to Har HaBayis? Who's the Bailim? Who's the Bailim? Well, that's a good question. The nations of the world, not one nation in the entire world, wants to recognize Israeli sovereignty exclusively over Har HaBayis. Think about that. So I think there was a major warning. Got to get it straight. You're fighting with me. You're fighting with this. You're not willing to accept Am Yisrael's Am Segula. And by the way, on our end, we have to be worthy of being an Am Segula. If we're busy with avodah zaras of all kinds, Gilei Rayos and Shvichas Damim, then what kind of kala is that? No one wants to marry such a girl. You want to say kala, noah, v'chasuda, what a wonderful girl, what a tzaddikus. She says Tillim all day long, and she holds down 5 jobs, and she goes around visiting the ladies in the wheelchairs, and she draws beautifully, and she's an art therapist all at once, right? And from a very wealthy family, and her brothers are Talmidei Chachamim, and blah 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 blah, and she's got a free apartment in Yerushalayim. Okay, what else? So we have to be preparing ourselves. Kol Yosef. If we add to our kedusha, we'll be okay. Now this also explains a very interesting thing from last week's Parsha Ki Teitzei. Like we said about that chassan that goes to war, right? He's allowed to go home. Who are the other people allowed to go home? So it says, Bona Bayis v'lo chanachu, he built a house, and then Nata Kerem, he planted a vineyard, and he didn't have a chance to wait for it to get to the 4th year so he could drink the wine. And then the last one is Eris Isha v'lo, right? He engaged himself to a woman but didn't marry. Lula kacha. So those seem very random, like just 3 different things, right? This guy's in construction, this guy's dating, this guy's got a business. It says the Rambam, in Hilchos Deos, in the laws of Talmidei Chachamim, the people that are supposed to have das, they're supposed to have their head screwed on straight, he brings in the middle of that, it's in Perek Dalet and Hilchos Deos, he brings two halachos. He says, the right way to go about life, first, you plant the vineyard. You make a business. Second, you build a nice house, all ready to go. And then you get married. Okay, so in our days, everything is exactly the opposite, right? Which says, pum fakert. First, let's get married. Then we'll worry about a house and a parnasa. Who cares? Says the Rambam, people with seichel. All right, and there's mitigating circumstances. I'm not, judging anyone. There's reasons for everything that's going on. And we are challenged here. But halavai, we should follow the path of the Bardeya. I don't know if there's anybody who does it today. Maybe the Syrians. They have these 40-year-old guys marrying the 18-year-old girls because he already made a few $1 million and he owns a house in Deal and wherever else. So maybe they're right. They're doing all right. So that's pshat in the parsha. The parsha lists it not that way. The parsha's first one is Banabayis, built a house, then planted the vineyard, and then marrying a wife. It's got out of order, man. You're not going to build a house without the geffen. Go home. It's not three separate stories. It's one story, but it's dislodged. It's not in order. That's why he's got to go home to set himself in order. Go back there, plant your vineyard, get your business going. But why a vineyard? You could have a sadeh. You could raise wheat. You could raise cows, chalav udvash. You could raise date palms. No, geffen, because geffen is, besides gezund parnasa nachas, right? That's what you really want. That's what you really want in your house. Because if there's simcha in a house, what are the three things that make you the happiest? Gezund parnasa nachas. What are the things that make you unhappiest if they're a problem? Gezund parnasa nachas, right? You want the simcha in the house? Start with the simcha. Start with the geffen. Be happy. Be a happy person. Our generation is a generation of atzvus, atzlus, and yiyush. The three musketeers. Because the Yetzer Hara is his last. He's throwing us his best punches. We saved the best for last. Jews, they were going through pogroms and this and they were happy. They got up the next day, they went to work, they sang a song, they thanked Hashem, they had an attitude of hodah, they persevered. In our generation, listen, we're all in the same boat. If anybody could pick their head up and smile. I found a nice card on the shul table. It says, Shtendik mit hashmeichel. Shtendik mit hashmeichel, a little card in Yiddish in the back. I have it in my wallet, actually. I thought that was so great. It doesn't mean a shtender with a shmeichel. It doesn't mean put the smiley on your shtender, but you're not on your face. It's shtendig, always with a smile. Because the geffen has to come first, and then you'll be successful. And you have a successful business because you're a happy guy, and then you'll be able to build a house, and then you'll find a wife, and everything will go well. If you're coming in with the geffen first. Okay. And the geffen, of course, is that symbol of the bracha of a tova meitiv. You want tova meitiv? Bring the simcha. Bring the simcha. You're able to be sameach after such a crushing blow, like the destruction. I could give you an hour shiur about how devastating the Roman victory was over Klal Yisrael, both at the Churban, before the Churban, during the Churban, after the Churban, Masada, and how they celebrated it in Rome. That was it. You thought, if you looked at it, you said, that's the end. Not for the Jewish people. Yavne v'chachameha, and right after Bar Kochva, right? Rabbi Akiva, and all these great Tanaim are killed, and now what? They're making a bracha of Tova Meitiv. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We'll yet drink wine. We'll yet raise a toast to the Geula of Am Yisrael. Amazing, amazing resilience, like the moon, which diminishes and grows completely dark. You think it's over. It'll never, ever be. But slowly, slowly, is the resiliency which Klal Yisrael represents. And even in its smallest state, it has the power to cloud over the sun and take over the whole world. And you better watch out, because it's dangerous. If you're gonna, because it says, Kol hanogeya ba'am Yisrael, if the Goyim touch the Jewish people, nogeya bibat einam, they're really touching their own eyes. Isn't that interesting? If you're going to look at the moon, Klal Yisrael, you better watch out. You're starting up with yourself. And perhaps that's the warning. The warning to the nations of the world, the warning to everyone in the world, saying, Ginug, you have molested my people long enough. You have schlepped them down. You have taken the axe to them constantly and consistently. And now it's time to stop. Because now is the time that Klal Yisrael needs to wax great, but it's our responsibility to wax great. Yosef, we have to grow. And also, Yosef. What does that mean? Yosef is a tzaddik. You have to work so hard to push away all of the tumah, and a little bit tzaddik, a little bit. You can be a tzaddik for the Seres Yemei Tshuva. You're allowed to take on all kinds of chumrah. So be a tzaddik for 10 days, or tzaddikus for 10 days. Be a tzaddik for a few days. By the way, I will add that there was one person I spoke to over my travels who said to me, 2 things are a great, great bracha, and you should hold on to them. One is Chumash Rashi and saying the daily Tehillim. That these 2 are particularly helpful to keep heaven and earth together, meaning that everything should go well for us, in the physical and in the gefen, in the gezund parnas nachas. Learn your Parshas Shavua with Rashi. Say your daily Tehillim. Don't let it up. Meaning daily Tehillim means that you finish Tehillim once a week. Okay, that's not so easy, but in a Seres Yemei Tshuva, maybe we could do it once. All right. And to that end, the Heligas Vasem said, "Kiteitzin lemechama al yivecha v'shavisa shivyo milashon Shabbos." Which is the milchama that we're fighting within ourselves, with our Yetzer Hara. He says, "V'shavisa shivyo." Shabbos is that break. Shabbos gives you the perspective on how you did that week. Shabbos gives you the power to go forward, to rejuice your energies, your ruchnius, and move forward for another week. But it also means you got to look into the events of the week. So maybe we'll leave Korea for next time.
Yeah.
Okay. But generally speaking, very simply,
What about the flood?
What's that?
Houston.
Okay. I have a lot to say about Houston. I think I'm going to have to go more in depth in that next week. Okay. But the Mabul had certain causes. Okay, there was a reason why there was a Mabul, and Hashem will only bring a Mabul on part of the world, which He did. Why Houston? So 2 things happened in Houston that are of great impact to Klal Yisrael. Well, first of all, what's Houston all about? Houston is the real America. New York City has too many foreigners. They're mostly foreign people. Washington, D.C., who knows? Chicago, I don't know, they're killing each other. Los Angeles, Hashem is burning. He's burning it right now, burning it. The Eclipse went over San Francisco area, the Bay Area, Texas. That's a good part of America, right? And it has the wealth of the oil. It is the seat of vast American power and wealth. Power enough and money enough to spend it on frivolous things like what? Like sending people into outer space, which is what Houston is the command center. It's called the Johnson Space Center. NASA Johnson Space Center. And who flew from there? One of our great Israeli heroes, Ilan Ramon. And who died over the skies of Texas? Ilan Ramon. When he was on the way back between the moon and the sun and the earth, he came. And what happened to him? He was incinerated. But what Kiddush Hashem did he do? He took a Sefer Torah, but not just any Sefer Torah. Which Sefer Torah? It was a Sefer Torah from the Holocaust, from Auschwitz, from when the moon is completely dark. And there was a little spark of a rabbi who had the courage and emunah to do bar mitzvahs with this Sefer Torah. And that's the Sefer Torah he took up to show right? Don't count out Klal Yisrael. We're now on top of the world, and we will be on top of the world. But he did one more thing. He kept Shabbos. And according to which timetable did he keep Shabbos? Nope.
No?
Houston, Texas. The time that he followed was the Shabbos hours. The Hachanasa Shabbos and Yetzias Shabbos was based on Houston time. So we had more, for us there's more simanim in Houston. Now, what I'll tell you is this, and I have to go to, I can't go into more detail right now, we're hours late, but the simon of Klal Yisrael, the moon, who's us, is Rachmanim, Baishanim, Gomle Chasadim. They are the opposite of the three traits of being sunk into Avodah Zarah, Shvichus Damim, right, and Gili Arayos. Right? Why? Baishanim means modest. Right? Rachmanim is you have Rachmanis, you want to show the people the truth about Hashem. So Rachmanis on the person. He has no, and then Gili Rashich and Avodah, that's against Avodah Zarah, and stealing. Gili is what's name? Rachmanim, Baishanim, Gomle Chasadim. Gomle Chasadim. They want to give. Said, who was the first team that made it to Houston for relief from all over the world? Israel arrives. Did you hear about anybody else coming? Did Canada come? Did Mexico come? Did Germany with all their billions of dollars come? Did France come? Did England come? Did Afghanistan come? Did Iran come? Only little Israel. They sent the relief. Why? Because that's pshat in a Jew. We just are that way, even to people who want to destroy us. It's an amazing thing.
Syrian.
Right, they were just here. Greenblatt was here, the emissary, and he's find out what Israel's really doing. They're taking people who are our mortal enemies, who are going to go home and teach their children to blow up Israeli children, and they're giving them medical care. What sense does that make? It doesn't make sense. But that's Klal Yisrael. We can't help it. We're addicted to kindness. We're mishugoyim. We give away all our money and we give away everything, and we're most nefesh. We don't know any other way. Which is why an Ammoni and Moavi can never come into the Kal Hashem. Because what did they not do? They didn't come out with lechem and mayim when we saved. That's Ramban says when we saved Lot's life, and you don't have a baguette or a pita and a kos mayim to give. That person has nothing to do with a Jew. And as Rashi adds, al devar bilam. The devar is a reference to the plans of Bilam. Al devar asher lo kidmu lechem lechem u'mayim, meaning the fact that they didn't give out lechem u'mayim is a sign that they were on whose team? Not on your team, but on Bilam's team. They're in cahoots with Bilam, not with you. Anyway, so we should. This is a first start. The idea is that, and we'll get to Korea in a second. Korea is a massive warning to America and to the nations of the world that guess what? You're in the same boat as Israel. Israel's a little nation, is the only nation that's being threatened with nuclear destruction. And Ilan Maron took care of one of them, and then they took care of the Syrian one, but nobody took care of the Iraq one. And guess what? Now the world is getting a taste. You didn't protect my people Israel, and you're under a bomb threat from some Meshugoyim that want to destroy you and incinerate you. Guess what? Taste a bit of your own medicine, because now you're all in this regard. And it's to bring the awareness of what's going on. Anyway, Hashem should give us the koach to be Mosif, Yosef, and also to be Mosif, opportunities to learn and grow in Torah mitzvahs. Okay, thank you.
What did you say about